Well, hi there, traders. This is Art Dill for FuturesTradingCompany.net and a recap of our trades for April 4th, 2012. We had one trade in the Globex session overnight, and I'll show you that was right at the start of the trading after the European session opened. When I got up, here's what I was looking at. The price after the open had immediately sold off to this level, 13,085, and then had gone sideways. So here, this first bar, this is the open of the European session right here. And so I decided to take a breakout trade, actually in either direction. And so I drew a trend line at the top of this channel and a trend line at the bottom of the channel. It broke out to the downside. We got short at 13,084. Traded 3 contracts. My first contract was taken off at 13,074. My second at 13,069. And I was using a 15-point trailing stop. And we were stopped out at 13,073. Got to a high there of 078, unfortunately, or we would have still been in the trade for a lot longer. I went to bed after that trade. Had I stayed up, I wanted to show you 2 more really good trades overnight that we could have had. And this one really wasn't that long after I went to bed. Right here, this was a valid short trigger at 13,055, and the second entry would have been a 45-point gain. My third target on a second entry is 20 points, and so we would have gotten 10, 15, and 20 points on this trade. And then one more trade over here, we would have gotten our first 2 targets. That was at 4:02 a.m. Pacific, 7:02 Eastern Time. It was a little bit of an odd day. We had the one Globex trade that we did take while I was up, and then I went 1-4-1 during the day for a total of -4 points. So you can tell that I really controlled my risk pretty tightly. The first trade I took was right after the open at just about 6:30, and let me I'll scroll over to that. So the market opened. This was my first trade. It was again a short. It was a breakout trade. I did also have a trigger that fired off on the bar. We got short at 13,014. My initial stop loss was 13,029 here. Then it came down after we got short to 13,008 for a low. Bounced back up off of that. Took some heat. Then came back down. And on the way back down here, I got out of one of the contracts at the break-even 014, and I took my stop off, my target off, my first target. I decided that I only had one contract left. After we broke down lower here, I moved my stop to 2 ticks above this pivot, 13,025, and got to a low of 13,006. So had I left both contracts on, I would have gotten one off at +7, one off at break even. But that's not how I traded it. So I only had one contract left on, and I got stopped out on the way back up here at 13,025. This was the third trade, and this was, again, it was really a breakout of this little pivot here, short. 13,024 was the short entry. I only took one at that time, and then I added at 13,030, and that was on this bar back up. So I got 13,030 there. Took quite a bit of heat. I got one off at 13,025. That was right here on the 1330 ad. And then I got the other contract here was actually off at 13,035. So I was stopped out 13,035 on that. So minus 9 points on one, plus 5 on the other. It was a net negative minus 4 points on that trade. Here was the fourth trade of the day, and that was a trigger trade. 13,017. And because of the choppy nature now that the market was exhibiting, I only took this with one contract. The market was really being very erratic at this point. We were getting 9 and 10 point bar at ranges on the 89 tick bar. As you can see, it was whipsawing really pretty heavily. So that's why I only took this with one contract, and managed to follow that down. My target was 12,997, and that was a bar right here at 715. So that was a nice 20-point gain on the fourth trade of the day. There were other opportunities, and should not have been quite so conservative. I was trying not to take trades that were close to, at this time, this was the low of the day, 13,979, and I really wanted room between my entry and the low to get a target. I wouldn't have had it here, but that would have been a nice winning trade had we taken it. And I need to go back and review my tape recording of the session as to why we did not take this trade. We certainly should have. At 747, that's the one trade I missed that would have made this a really good day for us. But unfortunately, that is real life trading. Sometimes you simply don't get every trade. The fifth trade it took, again, it was a trigger entry, 12,981, right here. My initial stop was 12,989. There it got to 7.7. Back up, almost stopped it out. Again, I took a contract off at break even. This was 12,975 low. I put in a 10-point trailing stop, and I was stopped out at 12,985, and again that was with minus 4 points. This entry, both of these, I was not taking longs, but that would have been an okay long there, right at dead zone. And another dead zone trade that would have been great was this short here. So just a matter of just missing some good trades today. That's all there is to it. this was the last trade of the day, and I finally did take a long here. Of the first long of the day at 13.018. Again, a trigger trade. I only had this with one contract. And I ended up, was going to trail it, but I ended up, I was using 10-point trailing stop, and it got to a high of 13.028 and came right back and stopped me out at 13.018 break even. So, could have had a much better day today. I really should have. Ended up overall plus 32 points. That includes the one trade that we took when the Globex session trading that we're trading now every night. I will be back in the room tomorrow, or I guess late today, Pacific time, early morning, 3 a.m. Tomorrow, to look at the Globex session. Hope to see you in the room. The contact information is available here in the chart on the video.